And little did I know 2 years later that I was actually going to come back, roll this thing out of the spot that it had been sitting in since 1983, put it on a trailer, and head home with it.
Hi folks, I'm Nate with Two Guys a Ride, and oh boy do we have a treat for you today. I'm in beautiful Chanhassen, Minnesota. I'm here with Connor. Connor, thanks so much for meeting with us today.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, well, we've been chasing this car for, well, over a year. And Connor was gracious enough to meet me here today. So Connor, what do we have?
We got a 1960 Buick Invicta Custom.
And it's absolutely gorgeous, folks. And we're going to take a tour of it. Let's start with the first time you ever laid eyes on this car.
So back in 2014, when I was 14 years old, I was standing in the kitchen window of my grandfather's house. And when I looked out the window, and I would say maybe say like a football field away, or maybe a little less, I could see the four headlights on this car.
This one?
And you could see, yeah, on this one, and you could see the angry kind of looking eyebrows. And so I was like, Mom, we have to go take a look at this car. So we drove out, walked over and knocked on the door and said, hi, can we take a look at this beautiful car in the back? And the owner, who was 92 years old, goes, yeah, sure, you can go back there and check it out. And I was like, okay. And I kind of walked around the blocked off like fence, couldn't see through, and came around the corner. I was like, wow, this thing is different than I've ever, like anything else that I've seen. And the first thing that went through my head when I saw the upholstery and kind of the rust around the fenders was, whoever restores this is in for it. And little did I know 2 years later that I was actually going to come back, roll this thing out of the spot that it had been sitting in since 1983, put it on a trailer, and head home with it.
Wow. Now, does that mean that you are only the second owner on this car?
Technically, I would be the third or fourth owner.
So this is what you spotted.
Yep.
From way across the foot.
Yep.
Well, it of course wasn't this color, it wasn't in this shape at all, but obviously you fell in love with the car.
Immediately, I remember, so 14, loved how it looked, knew it was a project. Then 16 comes around, I'm thinking in my head, I've got a capstone project for high school that I'm working on. And I was like, I had a friend in the neighborhood. He had a 68 AMG midget. I helped him work on it since he was 13. I was like, gosh, I love the classic car stuff. I'd love to be able to pull up to a car show, in essence, get front row parking and kind of share this with everybody.
Right.
Come time to do the capstone project, we were like, okay, let's do a car. I didn't know anything about how long it would take, how much it would cost, and what knowledge or tools. But I knew I built a lot of Lego sets, so maybe this is an adult Lego set that I'd have to restore. How about that?
All right. So, I mean, what an incredible adventure, right? And I mean, you can see the results of it, folks. I mean, Connor's not a mechanic. He's not a body person, but he's done, would you fairly say, a good 90% of everything on this car?
I'd say about 90%, maybe 80%. Upholstery was done professionally. It was custom, so I wasn't able to find any kind of seat covers or anything. Paint was also done professionally as well.
But, I mean, for a person who doesn't have any experience, this is my point, folks. You don't have to be a mechanic or an engineer to restore a car. All you got to do is have a passion for it, like Connor. So, underneath this, in the Invicta, well, just in the Invicta range, you had a was it a Nailhead?
Yep, it was the 401 Nailhead.
Ooh, let's take a look at it, can we?
Yeah.
So, obviously, an original engine with some modifications.
That's right.
So, tell us, it's the 401 Nailhead.
Yep.
It's got roughly how much horsepower?
It's got 325 horsepower and an estimated 445 foot-pounds of torque. It was originally called, yeah, pretty big engine. It was called the 445 Wildcat.
And this would have been this was an upgrade because let's see what there were three that Buick came out with in that 59 to sort of 62, 63 span.
Correct. Yeah, in 1959 they came out with the LeSabre, Invicta, and Electra. And so this was kind of your middle ground, and they called the 60 Buick Invicta the banker's hot rod. It was a little cheaper, but it had the larger motor. So,
Man, now tell us a little bit about some of the customization you've done here.
so in particular, the engine bay. Originally, this motor would have been more of like a green kind of color, and that's what we originally painted it. Because we never got to break in the motor when the paint was set, it started to kind of flake off, and it wasn't set. So when this car was put into the paint booth, we also painted or had the paint guy paint it black, and which I think ended up looking a whole lot better than a green to me with the nice blue color. As far as in here, I upgraded to a 150 amp alternator. Originally would have been a generator at a stoplight that
Yes.
the lights would actually
Dim, yeah.
Right, and when we get into the interior, I'll tell you why I upgraded. Original power steering pump. I did put as you can see here, this is kind of unique, a filter for the radiator, and it certainly has worked. And actually, I need to kind of clean it out. And I also, of course, immediately upgraded to a dual master cylinder. That's definitely a must in these vehicles if you want the car to perform and drive safely.
Now, when you got it, the engine didn't work. So did you repair it? Did you send it out to have it repaired?
Yep, so kind of within the first, I think, couple of years that I had the car, we took the motor and transmission out. We did a frame-off restoration on this car and took it in. The transmission was sent out, but as far as the motor, we actually went down to the shop and were able to kind of watch them piece it together. The only other thing that I've done that may have increased a little bit of horsepower was put in a 600 CFM Elbrock carburetor. The original carburetor was a Carter, so same carburetor, but just different updated name. The original Carter carburetor would have actually had a switch on it. So when you press the gas pedal down, this was original to the car in the last year for it. When you'd press the gas pedal down about a third of the way, it would rotate the switch and cause it to send a signal to the solenoid on the starter to start the motor. So it was not a turn the key and crank on the ignition cylinder.
Okay, so with a new carburetor, then you could put the key ignition in.
Yes, and I could, although I decided not to, and just have a push button that's underneath the dash. And then the only other thing that actually off the top of my head that I also did engine-wise was, and this is kind of a little secret, but I have a exhaust cutout. So I can at least hear all of my money coming out the rear end.
And we'll get a chance, hopefully, to hear that at the end here. That looks absolutely amazing. And I love the little touches that you've put into it, right? That make it your own. That's part of the fun of being creative and restoring a car. And we know a lot of folks want things to be completely original, and that's great. It's your money. But when it's someone else's money and they want to do something special, I love it. I mean, you've got the original engine. You've just done a few things to make it a little better to drive.
Yep.
Okay, let's close this up here. And gosh, I love this front end. I mean, here's you get a good idea of what we're talking about on the wings. That's just, that is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, bumpers are chrome.
Yep, and one thing I do want to point out on the bumper is this logo that I made, and it's Midnight Blues. That's the name of this car, a logo that I designed specifically.
I like that. It looks very, very much at home right there. All right, grill, stainless steel or chrome?
Chrome, so pot metal with chrome on it. Yep.
Okay, and then the rest of the trim on the car, besides the bumpers, that's stainless steel.
Pretty much, yes. The rest of the trim on this car, besides, of course, some pieces like the side mirrors, the door handles, kind of these headlight bezels in here.
Those are chrome.
Yep, those are all chrome.
Okay, so roughly, say on a percentage basis, how much of the bright work so stainless steel and chrome included, is actually original to the car, just been redone.
I would say about 90 to 95% of the trim on this car is original. There are a couple pieces that I had to replace. Like I said, that front passenger fender was hit in
Yep.
the early 80s, and so those pieces were pretty mangled.
But other than that, I mean, that's, and a lot of this, especially like the stainless steel, you did yourself.
Yeah, so I actually spent, and I always say this number, I don't have a specific number, but I've probably put about 300 hours alone into taking the stainless steel through 3 different wheels on a buffing machine with different rouges to be able to kind of give that mirror effect that it has now.
If you take a look at this, folks, I mean, from the tail end, you know, not including the little curve down here, right from here where the joint is like 7 feet. I mean, that's huge. So, I mean, wow, kudos to you for being able to do, you know, all that work yourself. I mean, wow, wow, wow. Let's talk about the wheels for a minute because they're not original.
You're right, your standard hubcap. They were actually a really nice design, and I do have one in the trunk, which I can show you later. Yeah, as far as this, I actually, Raleigh, and I don't know if I'll pronounce his last name right, but it's Tennies or Tennies. He had a 59 Buick, or still does, and he would show his car. And he asked me one day, do you want to buy these rims from me? And I said, they look wonderful. I'd love to put them on my car. The rims originally on this car were so pitted and bad, they were beyond saving.
Okay.
So I had to look for something
Yeah,
else.
because you know what? I'm going to back up here to show folks, but that is, I think they go with the car just like they're supposed to be there.
The nice thing about the center cap is it kind of ties in the rear tail light in a way.
Yes, it does.
With the red, yeah.
We'll see that there. All right, so chrome door handles. You got stainless steel trim on the top. Look at the size of that trunk. Holy schmoly.
We joked about putting a hot tub in the back when we first started.
You know, you could fit a small one in there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. So we said you re-chromed the bumpers here. These are chrome as well, right?
Yep,
the bezels?
Yep.
Okay. I love, just look at the design on that, the art, right? With all those spokes coming out.
Kind of a thruster looking design.
Yeah.
And something I definitely want to point out as I make my way up to the front of the car again is that you get this, like, not huge, but a very noticeable fin here on the front of the car, which is kind of atypical of this generation of car. The 59 had a little bit of a fin, but every other car didn't really. But you'll see that this fin goes all the way down the side, kind of integrates the handle here, makes all the way down here and kind of melds into this thruster-like taillight.
Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful stamp work by GM.
Yeah, it's stunning. All right. Can we open the trunk and take a look inside? All right, now the trunk is one area you've not completely finished. So you may see a few things showing here and there that Connor just hasn't had a chance to get to yet. But look at that space in there. Yes, that is a full-size spare, folks.
Yep.
Wow.
And that is the original hubcap located on there too. Kind of like an inverted dog dish almost.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yep. I love the matching blue Pepsi cooler and the radio.
Yeah, I actually
Channel Master.
Yeah, I painted the radio to match the interior color of the
I love
car.
it. I love it.
Something else I just want to share here. This is a wedding favor that I put together, and we just had our wedding on June 20th.
Yes, it was just recently. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're still married, right?
Yes, certainly.
All right, that's
lucky guy.
That's the good thing. And this was a total of what, 8-year restoration process?
8-year restoration. Pulled it out in, well, first saw it in 2016, pulled it out in 2017, and then completed a 7.5, 8-year restoration on the car.
Oh my gosh.
What I originally thought was going to be a year Ended up being, yes,
8 years. Well, and it's still 8 years is not bad for a restoration. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's talk about the inside for a minute, because there are some special things on the inside. So let's talk about the seats, because this is unusual, this configuration here, because normally you'd see a bench seat.
Right. Yeah. During this time or era, you would mostly just see a bench seat, and it was pretty common across the lineup. LeSabre, Invicta, Electra, they all came with bench seats. An Electra convertible, maybe you'd get a bucket seat upholstery if people opted for it. But what sets this upholstery apart from a lot of cars of this year is that it does, again, have bucket seats, unlike aside from the bench seat. Now, in 1960, mid-production year, Buick was like, Ford Thunderbirds, they have a bucket seat upholstery. We don't have any cars that have a bucket seat upholstery. Why don't we compete with them? And so they thought, why don't we take this 1959 concept car inspired upholstery and put it in the Invicta, but not just call it an Invicta, but call it an Invicta Custom. And so they put these blue bucket seats in with the white stripe center console. This is original what it would have looked like.
Okay, this is actually the original, and this is the original colors that was in the car.
Correct. Yep, it's the original color.
Obviously not the original seats, but I mean the covers. Those have been redone. But oh, the head-banging stereo speaker.
Yep.
Where if you sat in the back and you accelerate hard enough, you could knock yourself out.
Exactly, or you would dent the speaker grill in, which it certainly was dented in. It's a light aluminum, and so I had to kind of push it out.
Well, it looks good now. I mean, the headliner is just spotless. I mean, that's just beautiful. I want to know what's in the center console here.
I've got a bass knob because I actually have a 10-inch subwoofer in the trunk underneath the package tray. It kind of adds to the overall surround sound that I placed in this car. The button here is for kind of like an LED underlighting that I put here.
That's cool.
Just for fun, as a nice addition.
Yep.
And then you have this button right here. Now, when the car is on, this car, what most people call, has idiot lights.
Right.
And so they don't tell you anything about if your car's overheating until it's almost too late.
Right.
And it is really hot, or you don't have oil pressure and it's almost too late. So what I wanted to do was to be able to keep the originality of this car, but I also wanted to put in or install and have some function. So I wanted to put a triple gauge cluster.
But you didn't want it to show.
But I did not want to see it, exactly, especially at car shows. It just kind of breaks up the look of the car.
So where is it?
Well, let me show you. You press this button in the dash, and...
Oh, no way.
There it pops down for view. And I can clearly see
that
from the driver's side.
Wow. And then you press it again, it just goes back up.
Yep, if I press the button, hides away.
I love that. So you got that original look, but when you need the important information, you can have it there. Now, in the original center armrest, was there this area right here? Was this like an ashtray or something, or did you put this piece in?
No, I actually put this piece in, or had my upholsterer put this in.
Okay.
So it originally would have looked like this, all the
way around.
Space in here, all around, but this was added.
Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at the back for a minute, because I mean, just wow. All recarpeted, of course, but the colors are stunning. Now, the carpet would have matched the upholstery. This is kind of the same color carpet that would have been in there from factory.
Pretty close. The vinyl that you see kind of on the side here, that's a little darker. We tried to match that. As close as we could, because that's what they wanted to do, was to match the carpet to that piece. And of course, the sides of the door cards also have carpet on the bottom. The one thing I love about this interior, there's many things I love, but just to kind of point out a few things, is this tuck and roll upholstery is just beautiful and indicative of that era. This white line that runs down especially the sides here, because the one is in the center is a little larger.
Yep.
But these white lines almost match. They're a little wider, or yeah, maybe a little wider than the white walls on the car.
Oh, really?
So it kind of, this whole car ties itself
in.
in and out. I love
that.
this. Just the wraparound chrome goes all the way around the bottom. Beautiful design by GM for 60.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rolling piece of art. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to come over, I'm going to switch sides with you for a minute, and I'm going to come take a look at that dash. Everything that we're seeing here is original. Is that correct?
Correct. The only change that I made to the dash was that all of these numbers in here used to be orange. And I wanted a little bit more of a red, white, and blue theme to it. So I changed that. The only thing that remained orange is the speedometer. So, and it's like a barber pole style. It doesn't change color, but it's orange.
Okay. Now, you got a clock up there, which appropriately does not work.
Exactly.
Okay. Then you've got a rotating wheel.
Yep.
Is that your bright and dimness for the dashboard, or what is that?
So it isn't, and I'm glad you pointed this out, because this is a very unique feature on this car that was from 60 to 61. This is actually a mirror that you're looking at right now. The speedometer you see, a mirror. So when you turn this knob, you actually change the angulation of the mirror. So the speedometer is actually right here.
Oh my, for crying out loud. Look at that. Huh. Wow, I'll be.
That was, again, for 1960 and 61.
I love it. Oh my gosh, you're seeing a reflex, it's just a mirror. That is so cool. Okay, and you could rotate it from either side then. You had another one over here.
So, and actually the one on the left is your speed indicator. So you could set it to 70 miles per hour, and if you went above that, it would go...
Oh, but just by rotating the wheel.
Yep.
That is just way too cool. You know, it's funny, modern cars have those, you can set them now to, if it'll read traffic signs, and you can set the speed as to, when you want the car to warn you that you're speeding, right?
Yep.
1960.
Yeah.
They
were ahead of their time, honestly.
Man.
I will say about this dash, in 1960, what I've heard is that the GM had a competition to see who could design like the best looking dash, and Buick was awarded with that title for 60.
I can see why. All right, let's quickly go over some of these things, because I love these windows up here. This is just a control for your left vent and your right vent, and then over here you had, let's see, what do you have? Airflow. What was this one?
Defrost, and then the rear heat.
Okay, but I just love the little picture they give you.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool.
It's, you know what it reminds me of, and I think, again, they were going for that rocket kind of space-age look, is, when you're in a cockpit of an airplane.
Yeah.
I've never been in one, but I can assume.
Lots of toggles, switches.
You got toggle switches, levers, exactly. And this is exactly what they were looking for when you drop these levers down.
It's like letting your landing gear down.
Exactly.
Ooh.
This car actually was kind of took inspiration from a B-52 bomber.
Okay.
The front headlights kind of look like the twin engines on a B-52 bomber. And so a lot of Jet Age airplane influence.
Oh, man, I love it. Okay, original radio.
Yep. These buttons on the radio were notorious for breaking because on the underside, they were actually hollow. And what I actually did was I, again, designed on a CAD software and 3D printed these buttons and then put a water slide decal on the front that says Buick.
And then, of course, just volume and stations. Mm-hmm. And then you had, of course, the ignition. Now, of course, you got park, neutral, drive, low, and reverse.
With the shift knob that's up here, they don't reproduce these, so I actually had to take the original that was in 3 pieces, design it, and then print it, and then I painted it.
Wow. And then I just love the gun scope
Yeah,
for the, you know.
it's a car fan favorite. I have a lot of people that point out and they're like, "Is that a gun sight?"
Yeah, that's too cool. Okay, and then just wipers and lights. And then you've got is that a dummy light that way down in here?
Yep. So that's what the light is actually for, is the emergency brake pedal. So
Okay.
if you push the emergency brake pedal, tell you that it's on.
That it's on. Okay.
Yep.
And then, of course, steering wheel, you just got, you know, the horns on your side, but I love that sort of a deep dish look where it just goes right in.
Yeah, it's a beautiful design. And in case you forgot that you had power steering, there it is.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This had power steering and power
And
brakes.
power brakes. Yep. So if you forgot, you at least know that you were going to be able to stop with a lot of power.
Now, the mirror, this is not original. You've got a day-night switch, or is that?
Yep, so there's a day-night switch on this. Now, I'd have to do a little bit of more research. The mirror that I had in this car did come with a day-night,
Okay, but this is
switch.
not the original mirror.
But this is not, correct.
This is an aftermarket replacement.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
It looks great, though. It absolutely, you know, fits right in. Now, what is underneath this little door right in the dash here?
So this would actually be your, like your ashtray.
There you go.
Yep.
It was the 60s after all.
Yeah. And what I actually did was, this, of course, was where your cigar or cigarette
Yep.
lighter was. And I actually put a hazard light switch in there instead.
I love it.
I don't smoke, because there's no reason to have it. So I put that in there. And then same with this, I 3D printed or designed in 3D
Oh, that
printed
comes
this.
out.
Yep, kind of this what would have been like an ashtray. And I just decided, you know what, I'll just put that in there because the other one was rusted out.
Yeah.
And it just holds stuff. Now, as far as this goes, this little guy here I also designed, and it's got a magnet on the inside. And what I do when I'm driving around and I don't know where I'm going is I put my phone right here, and it magnetizes to
When
this.
when the lid's closed or the lid's open?
When the lid's open.
So it sits down in that little holder and then jeez. Very clever.
Yeah, a lot of things that
Without having to have a suction cup or mount
exactly.
anything.
That was the one thing I didn't want to do, and then when I took my phone off, I just close it, and there we go.
I love that creativity. Oh my gosh.
And even something that Buick designed in here was, you know, of course, the glove box right into the dash. You know,
look
got
at
a lot
that.
of car stuff in there, but
That is wow. You know, the way it's designed, you almost don't even see it.
no, yeah, you barely do.
I mean, now that you've done it, I noticed it, but looking at it before, I was like, okay, I wonder if it's under there somewhere. Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, let's step out front. I've got a few more questions for you. What future plans do you have for the car? Are you going to continue to do small modifications here and there? Is there something you never finished that you really want to finish?
Yeah, so I think we highlighted that trunk specifically is something that I'd like to finish. I want to take that Midnight Blues logo and kind of put it underneath the trunk in a nice kind of, what do I want to say, a Midnight Galaxy background.
Oh,
I think would be really neat. Kind of go with the theme of this outer space idea.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come together there. As far as the interior, we're pretty much done there.
Okay.
As with any old car, there's always something to work on, something to fix, and I still have a couple things that, you know, maybe like make a little noise underneath, and so I just have to pay attention to it.
Tinkering with it.
You're always tinkering with it, exactly.
All right. Last question. What is one of your favorite memories with this car?
I would have to say probably the more recent one, which was my wife and I got married, and we used this car for the wedding.
Oh, how awesome.
It worked out perfectly, and we actually got an 8mm film that was taken of the car, so it totally resembles the 60s.
Oh, that is just sweet. Man, Connor, thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you very much.
This beautiful, beautiful car that you've restored from the ground up, frame-off restoration. I mean, just incredible. What a story, and what a car. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Got a good turning radius.
Very good turning radius.
That's what you call a floating yacht.
One unique thing about this car is that the transmission, the Dynaflow, does not shift at all in drive. So you could maintain 1500 RPM or 2000 RPM all the way up to 120. Of course, maybe if you get close to 100, you might have to give it a little extra, but at least up to 80, you could leave it at 2000 RPM and it'd get there without ever shifting.